Someone asked me how I handle fairly slack doughs. This bread dough that I've got here is about 80% water to flour by mass, and what I'm going to try and do now is take it out of this bowl, get it into this one, properly shaped. Now it's not an enormously slack dough, so it's only about 80%, but it's got a fair amount of wobble to it there. Don't know if you can see that. It's quite wet, and our goal is to get it out without knocking out too much of the air or the gas that's come off the levain. So first thing is muslin cloth over the proofing bowl, lots of flour everywhere. So start off here, dusting a fair amount of flour over there, and over half my working surface. I want to leave half my surface fairly clear, the other half I want to have quite a bit of flour on. I always put a bit of extra down at the corner for putting on my hands. So half my surface is left reasonably clear, smeared with a handprint now, and half it's got a reasonable amount of flour in it. Next thing is turn the dough out. The trick here is don't use your hands too much. Gravity is your friend. Gravity is a wonderful business partner, readily available and cheap. So I'm literally just giving this dough some time to come out of the bowl where it's had its bulk rise. I can feel it moving now, I don't even need to see it, I can just feel the weight distribution changing and the dough is starting to shift. Give it a bit of a shake. Here we go. There we go. And it is largely a liquid, so allow it to do its liquid thing. So there's a bit of a help around the edges, but try not to do more than just gently pulling it away, because we don't want to take any more air out of it than we have to. This one's actually stuck quite a bit at the bottom. There we go. There it is. Now this one's actually reasonably thick. I'll try again with a slack one the next time I do this, maybe about 85–90%. It always leaves a bit of dough in here, that's perfectly good, so just take that extra dough out of here. Add it on, that's great. Now we managed to get the dough, just put that over in the sink. We managed to get the dough out onto the patch of flour. The next trick is the important bit, is make sure your hands are reasonably well covered in flour, because you don't want it sticking to your hands too much, and stretch and fold the dough a final time. This works to get some resilience and some resistance back into the dough, which allows us to shape it. So the first thing is pull it up, fold it across. Now that also brings the flour across. You can see these lovely bubbles forming here. Brings flour across into the bottom of it, because we're trying to get flour onto every side of the dough. So lift, stretch, fold. Now doing this has very little effect on the gas that's already trapped in the dough, so we're not actually knocking much out. Lift, stretch, fold. Once you've done that, roll it over, make sure it's all got flour on all sides, and we're ready for shaping. Shaping, we bring it onto the side of the working surface that doesn't have flour in it, knock the worst of the flour off our hands, and we simply shape it by pulling it gently towards us to stretch that wonderful skin. You can see the occasional bubble forming on it here and there, which kind of gives us wonderful big vacuoles in the formed dough. There we go. That's forming beautifully into a lovely round loaf. You can see it hasn't actually lost a great deal of volume. We've lost a bit, but not a great deal of volume, because we retain most of the gas. Make sure there's plenty of flour on your linen, on your muslin rather. Take the dough, gently place it in the proofing basket, and that's it. We've managed to handle a slack dough. The surface is clean, apart from the flour on it. We haven't left any dough behind. A well-shaped loaf in the proofing basket, ready to prove and bake.